On this general day in July, this Wednesday, where Donald Trump could be doing many things and did a half a dozen things, I'm sure, to make us question the state of our democracy and the world as it is, we could be talking about a lot of things that he could have done, could have not have done, and the distractions to keep things away. And no, we're not talking about the bad makeup job on his hand. We're talking about Epstein, the one distraction that he wants more distractions from because he doesn't want to talk about it. But we're talking about Epstein. We're talking about the fact that Donald Trump is in Epstein files, and we know this because we kind of figured that. We already knew he was friends and did the stuff, despite the letter with the body letter thing. But we know this because Donald Trump knows this specifically, which is maybe why he's trying to back away from getting out there, because he was told this by Pam Bondi in May for a briefing, which Trump said was a very short briefing, where he was informed that his name was listed in internal investigation files connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this is not a smoking gun. This does not mean what he did. This does not mean he's on the client list or was being blackmailed or was participating in things. It said he was, had a suite at the private island. This just says Trump was on some documents. There, full disclosure, no problem. Also, a story come from Wall Street Journal, which may be a problem. More fake news claims to the Wall Street Journal. Now, what problem this actually has is that, number one, it's the distraction that is tearing MAGA apart because they were looking for some Epstein dirt, and now Trump's not letting that dirt out. And it may be because Trump is collateral damage. I'm not going to say he's actually a big part of it. I'm just saying collateral damage in that stuff. His name is one of the names that are there that have nothing to do with being there other than he had some relations, not necessarily those relations, with Jeffrey Epstein. The actual really worst thing about this is that because we have this going on, the distractions is not going away. We'll be overtaking all the news happening, including the wars, the famine, the starving, the things like that. And all of the really, really bad actors are coming out of the woodwork to get their points and get their TV time. Michael Wolff's on TV again, who basically has no credibility whatsoever other than being kind of a slimy sort of guy writing books that people want to read because they're about the slimy things that Donald Trump may do, is out there making claims. Maybe they're true claims. Maybe they're not claims that are true. I could care less, but he's on my TVs. He's on when I'm switching from my news channels. I get my research, so it's there. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, or something like that. The White House is calling this fake news and once again attacking the Wall Street Journal, already suing them for the body picture thing. So that's in the works. Officials later clarified they were not denying Trump's name appears in any records, and did say that Pam Bondi did have an actual meeting with the president, and the president actually said something like that in his back and forth on his way to wherever today, saying there was something, a briefing about what's going on. Now, this comes from the back and forth from Bondi, who opened up on various news outlets, including Fox and Friends. I think it was the morning show, Fox and Friends, but on Fox News, where she was asked, are you going to release that Epstein client list? And she's like, oh, yeah, it's on my desk. We're reviewing it right now. And then in later times, she said, we're reviewing some more documents. We'll get things out soon. You got that. They had over influencers and gave them binders that said Epstein Files Part 1, and later find that the Epstein Files Part 1s were mostly blank stuff and things that are already released. Fine, dandy, but it was at least to them influenced, so they felt like they were a part of the deal. We know that there are so many people intertwined with Epstein because he's a rich guy in New York City with money, and rich guys with money in New York City gather a lot of attention. The wrong attention, I'd say, when he worked with Ghislaine Maxwell and the stuff they did, but it is a big deal. What's becoming an issue, and we'll get deeper in that in a moment, is the fact that not only do the MAGA people want the Epstein files out there, general public's like, yeah, just go ahead because so we can see what's going out there. But Republicans who are normally lockstep with Donald Trump are like, dude, just release the files. These are some of the same guys who also want the Area 51 and the UFO stuff released too. So to be fair, they're looking to do things that may or may not be something, but if they're not something, why are we holding on to them so tightly? So release the UFO files on Area 51 and all the Epstein files. Trump is positioning himself as transparent and responsive, especially now that we know that Bondi actually told him he's in the documents. Yet we still can't see them, and he's trying to work to get those grand jury transcripts. We'll get to that in a moment. But the revelation right now is fueling some more distrust inside of the GOP divides. The people who are MAGA all the way are still down with him, but many of those MAGA all the way is like, we're MAGA all the way, but we still want Epstein files. And the people who weren't essentially MAGA on the way want Epstein files. And the general public kind of wants Epstein files. We want this thing to be told so it can actually go away. Now, in the meantime, actual news involving Epstein, where a federal judge in West Palm Beach has denied the DOJ's request to unseal grand jury's transcripts from Epstein's investigations from 2005 to 2007. So these aren't the documents on Pam Bondi's desk that she says he's in there. These are the things that no one's supposed to see anyway, but this was the bone that Trump wanted to toss out there to keep the actual client list out of discussion. 11th Circuit secrecy room says you can't do it. So Judge Robin Rosenberg noted that the request didn't satisfy the narrow exceptions allowing the release. Wasn't going to happen, ain't going to happen. Meanwhile, somewhere before the House got out of and went to recess early because Mike Johnson didn't want to deal with it, a Oversight Committee issued a subpoena to Ghislaine Maxwell, requiring her to testify via deposition by August the 11th at the Tallahassee prison where she's incarcerated. She's already been in negotiation for a few days now since her name got brought up in the whole pushing of the ball, kicking the ball down the field, kicking the can, moving goalposts, however you want to use your expression to kick this thing down the road, is there. James Comer emphasized that the need for overseeing this federal sex trafficking lawsuit must be there and enforcing all laws and all the statutes that we have there. He's committee chair of that committee, the representative Republican, who's saying we're going to get this thing done. We're getting down to the bottom of this. We want the Epstein files. So now that we're trying to get to Ghislaine Maxwell, which ironically, it seems like nobody decided to actually talk to her about this. She just decided she's going to take 20 years. No pleas, no talking out. No one pushed her very much. It's like, yeah, I'll just take 20 years and let it go away. And then now they decide maybe we should talk to Ghislaine Maxwell about Epstein because she's the last person left that knows everything. Grand jury secrecy is something that remains intact, which is a good thing because these things should not become public record. These things should not become a precedent being broken, as Donald Trump has broken so many precedents in the 6 months he's been in office again and the 4 years he did last time. So it's just so many things are now the new normals that should not have been normals in the first place. What we do know is that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. We don't really know what the Epstein files are, though. So let's be fair about that one. We don't really know what they are. So he's probably not doing anything nefarious. Probably not. He's probably not doing anything nefarious in those Russian tapes that we think were being held over his head during the first election. It's probably just normal, just embarrassing stuff. And because Donald Trump needs to be seen as big, strong man, anything that's not big, strong man ruins the brand, and that makes an issue. Even though he has, he was wearing makeup for a long time. Whoever's doing his makeup right now to cover his vein issue should be fired. He should say, "You're fired. Get me that gal that did the makeup for The Matrix. Give me that gal that did that blue chick's makeup for that Guardian of the Galaxy. She is awesome." Something like that. I do bad Donald Trump. I do bad Obama. Those are the only two that actually semi work. So Epstein story's not going. When we get the damn files, it's probably not going away, to be honest. But hey, let's get the damn files out there. Let's get this thing over with. Let's rip off the Band-Aid and do it, because it's going to be icky. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be disgusting. But I just want it gone. Do you want it gone? Do you want it gone and just want everybody to be zapped like Men in Black and forget about it? Or do you want it to be over and we get all the information out there so we can all breathe a sigh of relief and take the time to take the grief on what really bad news we know we're going to get? Your comments, your thoughts in the comments for your thoughts.